celebrate the International Women's Day today, women are phenomenal. Mothers, incredible wives, resilient individuals, and remarkable daughters. Every 8th of March, the United Nations, alongside the countries across the world, celebrate women. This celebration began in 1908 when 15,000 women took to the street in New York to protest against terrible working conditions and exploitation. They agitated for shorter hours, better pay, and voting rights. The themes for this year's International Women's Day is Inspiring Inclusion. International Women's Day is a global day to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. It is a wake-up call for togetherness. Here in the studio this morning, we'll be celebrating two amazing women. Although we have Mrs. Yinka Kenny already in the studio this morning, who is the PRO, Evolving Women in Politics, EWIP, a Lagos State chapter. She's already here in the studio. Good morning to you, Mrs. Yinka.
Good morning.
Good to have you in the studio.
It's a pleasure. Good morning.
Oh, you're looking excited.
All right, so happy International Women's Day.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is this? There's a love, right?
That's it.
Okay, so this is it.
Now you can you do it?
Now, what is the? Let me start with, what was the confusion as to the theme for this year's International Women's Day? Because I looked it up earlier. It was inclusion, inspire inclusion, but then there was another one, invest in women, accelerate progress. You know what they say sometimes, when women are involved in something, there's always some,
No.
Why was there a confusion?
Well, if you ask me, yes, since the beginning of the year, we had always seen hashtag Inspire Inclusion. Okay. And just last week, we started seeing hashtag Invest in Women. But if you ask me, they are...
And this is from the international body?
Yes, the United Nations. If you ask me, and, if you go back there today, you will see that they both, theme, they are interwoven. Now, we have a theme, we have an hashtag. When you say you invest in women, and when you say you inspire inclusion, now, when you invest in a woman, you want the women to be involved. You want the women to take part, to participate, to feel that they are counted worthy, to feel as if, yes, we are up to the task, to feel that, yes, we can't do this. You understand? That is, you are also inspiring inclusion. A lot of women out there are demoralized. A lot of women out there, they even have the notion that at the end of the day, they will not allow us. But then, if the masculine gender, the world at large, can decide and intentionally invest in women, then we begin to accelerate the process of inclusion.
All right, so basically, there was a confusion amongst the.
No, there was actually no.
As to what the theme would be, but here we are explaining it away. But it's fine. It's fine. Now, talking about.
And that's why we are women.
Yeah, that's what you get confused.
No, we don't know. We get around with everything.
Yeah, you get around with everything.
That's
interesting. So which one are we sticking to now? Inspire inclusion.
It's both of them. We are talking inspire inclusion. We are talking accelerating progress. We are talking about investing in a woman. They are all interwoven. Just like I explained, when you invest in a woman, you begin to accelerate, the process of inclusion. You begin to boost the ego of the woman, that yes, I can't do it. Yes, I can't belong. Yes, nobody will segregate me or push me behind, because she has seen, the handwritings on the wall that yes, people, are intentionally, accelerating the process
now let's
of
look
inclusion.
At women inclusion in governance within Nigeria now. We do know that from some parts of the world, we see women rise to positions of presidency, vice presidency, hold
chancellors.
Yes, they hold very, very important positions. In Nigeria, we're seeing substantial involvement, don't you think? How would you adjudge this administration's inclusion of women to the previous administrations?
Okay, let me take you back to the history lane a bit of our president when he was the governor of Lagos State. You will know that he was the first to have a deputy that was a female, and I think he's a man that is intentional about including women in politics, in every aspect of governance, not just in politics, of leadership. Is somebody, when he was the governor of the, of the state, he did that. We saw that in all the aspects. He had directors, he had head of agencies that were women. And now that he is the president of the country, we can see that intentionally he promised, he said he's going to involve the youth, he's going to involve the women, and we can see that he's bringing, to fore. Look at his ministerial, appointments. You can see that we have a whole number of women in there. Yes, we are work in progress. We might not achieve what we want, what we desire in one day. But then let's give kudos to the present day government, because he's doing it intentionally, despite all what people are saying that, oh, look at the women you put, look at the women. And I tell people, men, they have done worse things. So you don't target women.
Okay.
No.
You're talking about
the fifth.
I wanted to further out.
Okay, Mrs. Yinka, the fifth agenda of the SDG, is to end all forms of discrimination against every female everywhere. But you come back to, I have to bring it back to Nigeria now, because this is where we are now. Do you think they are giving us, because I'm a woman, I have to speak about us, do you think they're giving us actually that chance to, participate fully without being discriminated? Given the fact that we have just 4 senators who are women and just 14 of us there in the House, where they have many men again surrounding us. I don't even allow us to talk when somebody want to talk. So
you see, like I would say that the journey of 1 million miles starts with a step. Now we have started, that we keep going on. Is a process. It's a process that will keep going on and on and on. Now, I bring it back to the fact, gone are the days they say that women do not support women. I think the narrative has changed, or will I say, is changing drastically. So that's where we start from. When we begin to support ourselves, when we begin to have our backs, when we begin to speak for ourselves, then we begin to see the change that we want to see in the polity. And that's what is happening. Talking about the fact that we are not allowed to talk, I do not agree with that. Yes, our numbers might be minimal, but I would say it's a step in the right direction. It's much more than what we used to have, and so it bounces back to those that are in the house at different levels now, to show what their worth is, to show to the world that yes, we can do it. We know we can do it. We can speak. We can take decisive decisions, and we have all that it takes to make things happen.
Right.
I don't think anybody is shorting anybody up.
All right, then. We'll take a little break now. When we come back, we'll continue with this conversation. All right, welcome back. We've been speaking with Yinka Kenny, who is a broadcast journalist, a television radio host, event compare, actor. Well, I didn't know that part of her, but I know she's also an influencer now. She's a TikToker. She's doing all of that. She's also a gender advocate, parental coach, and a philanthropist. She is the convener of Operation Feed the Elderly, which is a quarterly event that caters for the elderly in our society. Well, we also have with us, she's also the public relations officer, evolving women in politics. That's a lot this woman is carrying on her shoulder. Yeah, it's quite a lot. Well, welcome once again.
Thank you.
And we also have joining us in the studio, Mrs. Catherine Nken Ede, who holds a degree from the CIPMA, that's Chartered Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators in the USA. She waited for 9 years for a child, and then God blessed her with one. But then that also came along with another challenge because the child is a person living with cerebral palsy, and that in itself can be a whole lot to deal with. Well, welcome to the studio with us.
Thank you so much. Good
Catherine.
morning. And thank
Now,
you for having
it's
me.
International Women's Day, and truth of the matter is the women are doing a whole lot to keep the home together, to keep men sane, because a man goes out there, struggles, comes back home. If he comes home to a disorganized home, that will make him go mad, and the life expectancy will reduce. But then when you have a woman who is holding the home front very well, and also holding the man together, things are put in better perspective. All right, that's why when people say, "Oh, the woman's place is somewhere else," I look at them and I cringe, because I mean, if the woman isn't right there beside the man, what then is life? Now, you are a woman who has quite a story to tell, especially with raising your son. How has that been? Well, I do hear that he's a musician now. He's an artist.
Yes, he is.
All right. Well, we'll play his song in the course of the program. But tell us the weights, and then tell us about the weights, and then how things have panned out so far. How are you able to manage this alongside your business, alongside every other thing that you've had to do? Being a woman for you, what
Thank you
what
so
has that been
much.
like?
Thank you for having me. It's been very challenging. I must tell you, having a child with special need is a handful. It's quite a handful, and you waiting, and after 9 years, you have a special child. Actually, what I saw jolted me, because I didn't see it come. But I will not say why me. Who else? So I keep telling people, stop saying why me. Who would have been the person that would be that? Yes. So it was quite challenging, because as a young girl, I went into marriage quite early. I was in my final when I actually met my husband, and we decided to get married. We dated for a few months, and I was like, from Christian, okay, let me just get settled down. I think I'm done. And we got married the first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year, 7 year, yes. Thereabout, yes, about 9 years. So Alex actually came, and when he came, I was so happy. But he came with a lot of challenges. So I never knew or heard anything about cerebral palsy. We normally call it that good child, in quotes. They will say, yeah, that boy behaves like a mama and all that. So when he came, he was not meeting his milestone. I didn't know anything. So I felt because he was premature, so he was going to be a bit slow, but he would get there. So my mom kept encouraging me and keep praying. She's a retired nurse. So we're just trying to, he was an incubator for about 2 weeks. They brought a doctor, said, oh, he's good to go, but he was not making milestone. By the time he was 9 months, he didn't see it, he couldn't make eye contact. He would just smile sheepishly, and he just told that something is wrong. But actually I got help because I was able to speak out. So I actually was in the salon when I got help for my son. I was going to the salon that day. I just decided to take him for no reason. For no reason, yes, for no reason. Why would I take a child like that to salon? I don't know. But I just told my sister-in-law then and my nanny, please get Alex dressed and take it to the salon. They were all looking at me. Is she okay? So when I go to the salon, instead of putting the kids, because they have like a a nursery section in this time. It was a big salon where if you bring your kids, you don't allow your kids to play around there. But he was on a car seater.
Okay.
Okay.
He was 9 months, so he was in a car seater, and the owner of the salon was like, madam, bring him to the nursery section. All the kids, they were like 7, 6 months. They were all crawling, trying to play with the toy there. And I said, sorry, he can't sit. He said, he can't sit. The person that actually gave me help was in the dryer. She was just paying attention to her, saying he'll bring her head and go back.
You didn't feel some sort of, you didn't feel ashamed?
I didn't feel ashamed. I didn't, because he's a child I've been waiting for, and he's my child.
Okay.
So I was able to, like, he's not sitting, no, but he's premature. I'm trying to manage him. The lady now got up. I was like, after I'm done doing, I would like to see you. I quickly followed her. I said, why? He said, for your son. That child needs a, bring that child. And I took him and he looked at my son. I was like, this child has CP. I said, what's CP? He said, cerebral palsy. Take him to so place. You can get help there. This is my number. I didn't make my hair again. I just carried. I said, I'm following you. You have a child. I want to see that your son. And I mean, seeing is believing. He took it. Then his son was already 7. So I saw this son. I saw he was drilling speed and trying to try to. You
Well,
know.
this whole story is to encourage women out there, because
Yes.
we do know that some women are having to deal with this alone. But the bottom line is you don't have to go through this alone. There is a support system that can help you, so you can find you can find rest in all of this. It's children are a blessing from the Lord, no matter how you see it. Well, now let me come to you now. Let's talk about in the news today, as we've had in some of the
Thank you.
Yes, in the news today we saw that some women have been kidnapped. Usually, it happens quite a lot in this climb. Some papers reported 280, some reported 287 women kidnapped. What is your organization doing, involving women in politics? What are you doing to throw more light on what is happening to women? Now, there's a report I saw, women went to pick firewood and they were kidnapped, about almost 300 of them. What is your organization doing to draw government attention to the plight of women in certain parts of the country?
Yes, thank you very much. We are, day in, day out, we are bringing government to the, consciousness of the fact that women are the targets. Women, they are, when people know that, when we...
A soft target.
Yes, they are the target for all of this, maltreatment in the society, and consciously those women, those of us that are up there, close to the powers that be, are bringing their consciousness to it day in, day out, and are telling them to bring up policies that will protect the women. And we also trying to influence women in the house, women that are in the places of authority, that are lawmakers and all of them, to bring up a bill that will give the woman in Nigeria a soft landing. Because I tell you, most of there had really not been a bill that is really giving the woman the soft landing, that is giving the woman the form of protection that we need. And also then we are also trying to bring to the awareness of the public at large.
Shed more light on the protection, the nature of it.
The nature of the protection is in the fact that, enough of the fact that it's the woman that has to do all the menial jobs. It's the woman that has to be...
What menial jobs? Because men do the menial jobs. Actually.
I was going to come at you almost immediately.
Are you talking about menial jobs and jobs in the home?
Honestly,
What menial
talking
jobs
about
do women
home
do?
is another story for
Okay.
another day. Because if I go
Men
into
do
that,
the menial
because for me,
jobs.
let me just simply drop it. Marriage is partnership. It's not, a slave, one person has to do this.
Yes.
We've gone past that era. It's partnership. Women are going to the farm in the rural areas. In these times and seasons that we find ourselves, these women, they need, some sort of escort, some sort of protection. They should not be allowed to go to the farms on their own, because naturally, you cannot. I have a boy that is almost 21. I tell you, I cannot go into physical combat with him, despite the fact that I gave birth to him, because that is the way he is wired. He is a man. So naturally, there's this physical strength that the man has that gives him a form of edge. So when we have these women, I'm just taking because these things happens most of the times in the rural areas. Yeah. So when they are going to their farms or their markets, so to speak, like that, they should, they need the protection of their vigilantes, their local, their community, yes, security and all of that. They should not just be left alone. Most of the times we hear stories over the news. We see that these women, they just go to the markets, they go to the farms unaccompanied with their children. So you have a woman, she has a child on her back, she has one she's pulling, all of that alone is even weight on its own. Right. So when she's attacked, how will she even defend herself, not to speak about defending the other person? So this is one form of protection we are talking about. Then I'm also of the opinion that there are some of the things that they go so far, they have to trek so far to do. We're talking about the woman in the rural areas now. It could be brought close to them, proximity, probably close to their compound, close to their homes, so that they are still under the shield, the protection of the family, of the home, because you realize that a man that wants to perpetrate evil will not do it in a public place, will not do it where there are a lot of eyes on whoever the victim would be or he intends to perpetrate the arms on. So those are one of the things we are talking about. And we are also talking about a lot of people are pushing community policing, because in a community they know themselves, so they should lay emphasis on the women, those areas that are volatile, those areas that the women are their targets. They should lay emphasis on the fact that women they don't have to be outside at so time, they don't have to be alone at so places, and these are little things, little ways at which women can be protected.
All right, I was going to quickly ask you, your organization, we know at this point, let's also face, okay, let me also put it out here. From my perspective, women are superhumans.
Oh, yes, they
are. I don't know how you guys manage, but really, you guys are superhumans. Now, here's my question, particularly about your organization. You guys, at this point, definitely would need some level of support. How can individuals and multi-internationals come in to support your movement at this point?
Okay, presently we are even doing so much on our own, because we are doing a lot of philanthropy. We are empowering women. We have women in our association that do not have so much privileges as some of us have. We are lifting up their hands. There are situations where just last week or 2 weeks ago, we still visited a woman that has had a baby, and she didn't have anything. She didn't have even food for the baby. We went there with cash, gifts for her, foodstuff, and a lot of things. That's the way we are doing it in our own little bit. So the international body can also take a cue from that to support us. We are close to these women at the grassroots. Like for me personally, I have an NGO on my own, apart from EWIP now. Okay. I run Yinka Kenny Girls Care Foundation, where we cater for the feminine gender from cradle to grave.
All right, it's interesting that you talked about this. We're running out of time, but it's interesting that you talked about this, and I just recalled that somewhere in Ogun State, the government have come out to complain about women having to drop unborn children in dump sites. Very recently, that was a recent development. I think earlier this week, having to drop them in dump sites. Are you reaching out to some of these young girls and women to let them know, look, whatever the case may be, if it's an unwanted pregnancy or whatever the case may be, you can get support. Yeah. What is your take on abortion? What is your take on some of these issues? Can we just get that in about a minute?
Okay, I was talking about my NGO. It was brought about, my own personal life experiences. These are things that I'd gone through even as a young girl. And, when I became 40 years of age, I said to myself, 1,000,001 girls that will become today's woman. are going through that, and they will be looking for support, because at one point I would say I was suicidal because I didn't get help. I couldn't have people to speak to. So the first thing I am doing in my NGO, Inka Kenny Girls Care Foundation, is the fact that I encourage every girl child to speak out. I get close to them. Speak out. That's the first help you need. Whatever you are going through, whatever situation, you are not alone in it.
Right,
1,000,001 people are going through this. So we should start, when you talk about investing in women, we start from today's girls. Today's girls, if you start impacting into them that they can be whatever they want to be, no matter their situation. God bless Foluke Daramola. She's come out 1,000,001 times to say that she was abused and all of that. And today she is who she is today.
That has exceeded 1 minute. All right, Mrs. Ede, now, for your own, what are the things, what's your parting shot to women that are having to deal with children with special needs? Is there any advice for them? Are you also working in line with any organization to see that children that have special needs are specially attended to? Are you putting forth, are you speaking to the government in that regard as well?
Actually, to be very candid with you, I think the government, they've been a bit withheld and withdrawn from. They don't even want to talk about children with special needs. Unlike advanced countries, here you don't even get help. You spend so much. It's quite capital intensive to take care of a child with special needs. They need to sanitize them. My child was bullied. I had to take him away from the school he was to another school because they told they couldn't admit it. This is a child that I took away, it's called inclusive. If you go to every organization, they'll tell you at least 2 to 3% of a special child in a regular school. So when I took my child, before he even started school, the first school I took him to, they told me that they don't admit children in a regular school. I should take him to a special school. How do you not integrate it? Yes, I didn't. Because then, I didn't want to expose my son, my child. And I know a lot of women are going through this day by day. I had to bring him away from that school. But I got help. How? In a supermarket again. I went to buy him his 1-year birthday, and I saw the woman. She just slipped her card into a school that you can bring your children and say, but I have a child, but it's a special child. Do you know how embarrassed it was? I had to wait outside for her to come out. It's that bad. They don't pay attention to them. I came out, she gave me her card, and I said, no, bring him. He said, no, a human being. Why are you saying that? I took my child there. That gave me little comfort and confidence as well. So I took the child there, and he was there from primary.
How old is he now?
He's 17.
Wow.
He's not in secondary school.
Things are changing because I can say it. Things are really changing.
We are out of time.
Okay.
I did say that I would like for us to watch. That's him.
Yes, that's Alex.
Yes. We'd like to. We hope that we can listen to his song, though.
That's him. Yes, that's him.
He looks good.
He looks amazing.
He looks really handsome. We'll probably play his song. Did you? Okay. We'll play his song. But listen to what.
Alex, I'm a star boy. I'm a star boy. Every time you come around, you put me in the mood. You cry for your brain and you find too.
Well, you know what? We'll play this one at the end of the show. But I must say a very big thank you to you, Catherine Nkem Ede, for coming on the program. We do appreciate you, and also YK.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the program as well. All right, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll get into business. Now, that break, let's listen to this song by, what's his name?
Alex.
Alex.
All right, let's listen to Alex, the star boy. Let's listen to this one. We'll be back.
I know I love my mother, God, she's my wonder woman. More than a mother, always be respect her. More than a mother, always be ginger her. More than a mother.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.